This is C and IMAX's review of Sucker Punch, which we saw in IMAX. What do you know? This is directed by Zach Snyder, who has directed such films as Watchmen and 300 and the remake of Dawn of the Dead and Legend of the Guardians. From the trailer, I was expecting a really fun, entertaining film with a good storyline, interesting characters, and, a twist at the end to make it worth the while, but ultimately, I didn't enjoy this.
Well, I agree it wasn't as good a movie as I had hoped either. Sucker Punch is the story of a young woman who is put in an insane asylum by her evil stepfather. She has 5 days in which to escape before being the subject of a lobotomy. Very early in the movie, she moves into a sequence that I would call either a dream sequence or an imaginary sequence of some sort, and then from there goes into even a second layer of dreams or imagination as she goes through the movie. The one thing about that was difficult was they never went back to reality until at the very end of the movie. And so it was hard to really grasp what was going on. And at the very end of the movie, although it did all come together, it was very quick and very difficult to tie it all together with the few pieces of dialogue that occurred right at the end. So I too was disappointed in the movie, although I will say it had some great visuals, great action sequences. It seemed to me almost more like a video game than a movie, however.
Yeah, Zack Snyder is very well known for his directing of special effects and everything, but ultimately I didn't find that they really saved the film. The dream sequences, like the third level, didn't really take too much time out of the entire film, so you really spent a good amount of time in the second dream sequence, if you will. In terms of acting, nobody really stands out except for the main bad guy, who's kind of like the guy who runs the asylum. The plot is very difficult to follow. A lot of things do not make sense. Things aren't explained, and you're kind of left scratching your head at the end as to what was real, what wasn't real. I wouldn't really recommend this film to anyone, although I'm sure that there are people out there who really enjoyed this film. Ultimately, I'm going to have to give it 2 stars, which I didn't want to do, but I didn't like it.
Well, I agree that the series of illusions or dream sequences were somewhat confusing, and although they were enhanced by some great music, I enjoyed music by the Jefferson Airplane and the Stooges, but at the end, I found myself looking at my watch after about an hour, which was about halfway through the film, and that's always a bad sign. It's a big movie on visuals, so if you do see it, I would encourage you to see it on the big screen. I don't think it's going to translate too well into the small screen, but again, if you're going to watch this one as a Netflix rental, I would do it as Blu-ray, because really, this movie is all about the visuals. I'm with you. I give it 2 stars.